Hey, everybody. David Swor here with DJ Cox and our female friend who just let us know that this meeting is being recorded in case you were wondering. But it's good to see everybody again, DJ. It's even good to see you. It's been a couple weeks. Man, it's been an eventful couple weeks. The Cubs, man, they kind of got it headed in the right direction. The Yankees got headed the other direction. And so I guess that's a good place to start out, DJ. Tell us what's been going on with the Cubs the last couple of weeks.
Oh, I've been waiting for this all day, David. This is going to be my favorite part of the show. I'm completely excited about what's been happening.
So anyway, back to the Yankees. Oh. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to throw that
in there. In case you've been living underneath a rock, the Chicago Cubs are in first place, David. And I'm going to go through the week real quick for the Cubbies. Unbelievable week this week. 7-1 win on Tuesday against the Padres. Zach Davies dominates, goes 6 innings, 4 Ks, no earned runs, and only 2 walks. Andrew Chafin and his mustache and goofy hair, David. 1 inning pitch, strong in relief. And I'm going to talk a lot about these relievers because they are unbelievable. He has a below 2 ERA. Alec Mills is proven again why he isn't belonging in the majors anymore. He's struggling mightily. Gives up the only run in the game, has a 6.08 ERA right now. He's the only guy on the staff right now that pretty much is struggling as far as guy who's a starter or a reliever. Contreras, Wisdom, Rizzo, bang bombs. Rizzo has 4 ribbies. Huge win on Tuesday by the Cubbies. Moving on to Wednesday, 3-1 win over the Padres as well. Rex Brothers, another stud in the bullpen, gets the W in relief. Your boy Craig Kimbrell, and I'm going to talk about him a lot too, David, gets another save here. He is the man. Cubs give you the loss. We don't need you, Darvish. He's overrated. Moving on from him. We beat him. So Cubs dominated Machado and Tatis in this game, going to combined 1 for 8 with 3 Ks in that game. Made him look bad all game. Jock Peterson had a bomb, a ribby. Sergio Alcantara, who has played a lot with Bodie and Baez hurt, had an RBI as well. And
how are they surviving without David Bodie, the MVP of the league? How is that possible?
David Nick Madrigal's out for the season.
Hey, DJ, that dude's a stud. I think he was hitting like 320. It's sad times. We're going to talk about this later, but the White Sox just keep winning anyway. Go ahead. Sergio, how do you say his name? Alcantara?
Yep. So Sergio.
Second base, Bodie. Bye.
Bodie, 23 ribbies. Still 4th on the team in ribbies. He's been out for like 2 weeks. But anyway, Arrieta goes 5 strong, which is all he gives you anymore. Only gives up 1 earned run. Got the win. Nice job by him. Thursday, David. We did not have a game, but Patrick Wisdom becoming a household name out of nowhere. This guy was a 2018 Cardinal, a 2019 Ranger before he stuck with the Cubs last year for a couple games. He has 9 home runs and 13 ribbies in only 20 games, was named the National League Player of the Week. He is currently hitting .333 with a .390 on base. Called up from AAA on May 25th, the 29-year-old is a stud. Wisdom is one of 3 players. Trevor Story, Aristides Aquino of the Reds, who have 8 home runs in their first 8 starts with a team. Pretty awesome there. He's 10 for 23 with a .435 batting average this week and dominated. And very cool to see him. He had 2 bombs against the Padres and 2 bombs against the Giants. Unbelievable story. He's been playing as well a lot because this Cubs team offensively has been banged up a ton. A lot of guys have been out. Hayward, Bodie, all kinds of guys have been hurting. So these guys that have come out of nowhere, made a name for themselves. Patrick Wisdom, unbelievable. Friday, we go to the Cardinals series. And this one, David, this put the Cardinals almost in the cellar just like that after hanging out at Wrigley this past weekend. It was awesome. Friday, an 8-5 win. Cubs down 5-1 in the 5th. Not going to lie, I had stuff going on. Came back to this game and saw that they won. Was in complete shock because they did not look like they were going to get this one, but they did. They got 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 1 in the 8th to get the win. Dominant offense. Kimbrel yet another save. I probably should push repeat on that one every game that I'm talking about here. Tommy no ERA Nance with the W in relief. He's literally got no ERA, David. Genesis Cabrera with the loss. And maybe just like his name, he should have started the game and not finished it because he didn't finish well. Little joke there, David. Pretty bad as well. I guess, yeah. Jock was 3 for 4 with 3 ribbies, including a bomb. It seemed like I'm saying his name a lot. Hayward with 2 hits. Hey, Hayward. About time, man. That whopping 176 batting average. Thanks, $184 million. Appreciate that contract, buddy. We've seen him believe in a lot of stuff recently. Apparently, he doesn't believe in hitting anymore. So, way to go, buddy. Saturday, we go from a 7-2 win over the Cardinals. This one was awesome as well. Cubs got 5 in the 2nd inning. Ian Happ with 2 ribbies, including a bomb, and Jock took one deep as well. Hendricks 6 strong with only 2 earned and a W, and your boy Kimbrel with yet another save, David. This guy's obviously dominant. The awesome bullpen, 4 guys combined for 3 innings of no runs allowed. Dan Winkler, who also needs to get some credit here, was just in the spotlight for this game. 0.79 ERA. He's been lights out. It's always great to see Yadier Molina cry, and he did after this game. So the Cardinals are in deep trouble, David. On Sunday, this is by far my favorite game of the year, David. I don't know if you caught this, and your boy A-Rod doing Sunday Night Baseball this past day, but
I just need to interject right there, DJ. I did try to watch this game, and all it took was 1 inning of A-Rod for me to go whomp and turn. I'm not joking. Ask Allison, ask my kids. We were all up there, and I said, I just can't do this. I just can't do it. If there was a radio feed I could have watched or something and turned that down, bring back John Miller. They got to do something with the ESPN lineup right now. It's awful. It's pitiful. I don't like Marley Rivera. And, listen, I'm not against female commentators. The Yankees have Susan Waldman, who I actually like. I hate the lineup. Other than Matt Vasgersian, I hate the lineup that ESPN has right now. To me, the games are unwatchable. I'm dead serious when I say that. I have to turn the volume down. It's so bad. So anyway, I did watch like 1 inning of that game. But go ahead and tell us all the good news.
This is great, David. It was like opening day. April was whatever. This is finally opening day. All the fans are there. Nobody's wearing masks. Everybody's watching baseball, having a good time. It's the first time I've seen it in 2 years, and to be honest with you, man, it was awesome. I'm not going to lie to you. And since that happened, I've already got 2 games that I'm going to now, since they're not making us wear masks anymore and it's full capacity. I'm back in, man. So I'm excited about it. You are so right about the ESPN A-Rod thing. Nicole hates him so bad, so she was giving him crud about the 2nd inning as well. So I knew you would enjoy that. Yeah. So it was awesome, man. And the crowd made it finally feel like baseball. So July 5th, David, is my first game at Wrigley. I'm so looking forward to it. It's celebrate Independence Day on the 4th and go back to Wrigley, my second favorite place on earth next to my home. So I'm excited about it. It's been a long time. The longest gap between me going to a Cubs game in my entire life. I've hated it. I've missed it so much, and I'm excited to be going back, man. So it's awesome. Craig Kimbrel was electric in this game, man. All 3 saves in this Cardinals series. In the 9th, he looked like the Hall of Fame Kimbrel that he is, man. The fans made a giant cup snake in the bleachers. It was really, it's really man, they were having a good time, man. It's awesome. And bleachers at Wrigley are the best. If you ever go to a game at Wrigley, when you come with me, we're going to the bleachers. Carlos Martinez got the L, and he reminded me of why I hate the Cardinals. I can't stand that guy. Nicole also told Tyler O'Neill to put on a jersey that fits. And Rizzo had an RBI single in this game as well. my favorite game, man. Put a stamp on this one. The Cubs are for real, David. Apologize now for thinking they were going to finish in third place. Do it. No?
So, DJ, I think there's still a good chance to finish in third place. So let me ask you some questions here. So trade deadline is on its way. Will the Cubs be buyers or sellers?
Buyers, man. You cannot not sell at this point.
If they're buying, what are they buying?
Now, that's a good point, and I was going to get to this later, but you brought it up now. You ever heard of a guy named Max Scherzer from the Nationals? Bring him on, buddy. He's coming along. I'm dead serious about this. He's going to get traded, and I think he's the biggest piece that's going to go at the deadline from the mound. The Nationals are falling out of it a little bit, and I don't think they want to keep him around. A lot of the things I've been reading says he's going to go. I mean, the Cubs' problem right now is that starting rotation. The bullpen is unbelievable, David. And if we could piece together one more guy or two more guys to go in that rotation, Hendricks has been great. Davies has been dominant the last couple starts. And Arrieta's been, decent. I'd say if he's a 3 or 4 guy, then you're okay. But if you plug a Scherzer into that mix, and we like we were talking about, we've got all these guys that are coming up that are kind of showcasing themselves a little bit that we're not even in the mix to begin with. So we've got some pieces offensively we can give back to somebody, and I don't know what it'll take to get Scherzer. It doesn't really seem to take much to get anybody these days, so I don't think the asking price is going to be super, super high. And one more game Monday was yesterday, a loss 5-2 to the Mets. Arrieta gave up 4 runs in 5 innings, so that was the only loss of the week. Tommy Nance gave up his first earned run of the season. He went 12 innings without giving up a run. And now his ERA is up to a whopping 0.75. This guy played independent ball for the Windy City Thunderbolts on the south side here. Ben Foster, our guy here, came to this league in the independent league as well. And he never gave up. He's been on a roller coaster his whole career. Finally made it to the show and has been absolutely awesome. It's a really cool story. You should look it up if you Cubs fans out there. Rizzo and Wisdom, back-to-back homers for the only runs the Cubs got off of Trevor May. Kind of a dud last night. But overall, man, really good start to the week for the Cubs. They've dominated. David, I'm going to run these numbers by you real quick, just to kind of give you a little perspective on what the bullpen's been doing for us. Kimbrel, 0.66 ERA this year, 18 saves, second only to Mark Melancon. He's got 45 Ks in 27.1 innings. Unbelievable he's been. Ryan Tepera, 31 innings, 36 Ks, a 1.99 ERA. Andrew Chafin has a 1.91 ERA. Dan Winkler has a 0.79. Rex Brothers, 2-0 with a 2.91. He's also got a save. 36 Ks in 21 innings. Dylan Maples, 1.99 ERA, 32 Ks, 22 innings. Keegan Thompson, 3-1, 2.01 ERA, 25 Ks, 22 innings. Justin Steele, 2.03, 13 innings pitched, 21 Ks. Tommy Nance has a 0.75. I just mentioned him. Brad White has no ERA in 8 innings. Trevor McGill, no ERA as well. Even Pedro Strop has a win and no ERA, and that's limited time, obviously. But and Anthony Rizzo, David, has a 0 ERA as well, 0.2 innings pitched, and struck out Freddie Freeman. So there you go, man. This bullpen, and to be honest with you, David, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but of those guys I just mentioned, how many of you really heard of? Just being honest, and you're a baseball fan, and so these guys are coming out of nowhere.
But some of those guys, like Rex Brothers, I think he was in the Yankee farm system for a while. He was nobody.
Yeah.
Ryan Tepera, he's been around for a little bit, never been anything great. Dan Winkler, I think he's bounced around. So it's amazing. They've obviously figured out something with these guys. And I was going to ask you about this. I mean, how good has David Ross been at this point? I mean, they haven't been able to hit in the past few years, and all of a sudden they're hitting. They downgraded their rotation. I don't think anybody could argue that, but they're still able to win ball games. I think a lot of that goes back to the manager. So you got to give David Ross a pat on the back, right?
Yeah, he's been awesome, man. There's no doubt about it. And I keep hearing all these podcasts I listen to, ESPN radio, all that stuff, MLB Network radio. They're all trying to figure out what the Cubs are going to do next month at the end of the month. It's going to be interesting, man, because here's the thing, David, and I've thought about this a lot. So if you let those guys walk as free agents, which maybe one or two of them do, you know, you don't get something for them, so to speak. I mean, can't you just take that money that you were going to give them and give it to somebody else? I mean, I know you don't get the trade value back from them, but you're kind of in a spot where you got to let them walk and just take the money you were going to give them and give them to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way to kind of get through that. You would want to get something if you knew they were gone, but
you can still give them a qualifying offer as well.
Yeah.
You know, and recoup the draft pick and be happy you were in the playoffs. And yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any way you should be selling right now. No way. I mean, I think they need to go for it. I mean, they're in a division that's honestly down. You know, the Brewers are pretty good, but you know, as good as their pitching is, their offense is bad. So, you know, I think them and the Cubs, man, be a great horse race down the line. So I'd like to. I mean, I hope they add. I hope they keep trying to go for it. I mean, as bad as I want to see you in tears, I think it would be bad for baseball if a team, especially a big market team like the Cubs, you know, the Cubs aren't poor, man. So like, I think it would be really sorry for a big market team like the Cubs coming off of the pandemic to sell off anybody, man. They got to go for it. They have to go for it. So we'll see. It's gonna be very interesting. But I totally expect them to add something. The Scherzer trade, that would make a lot of sense for them. And you know, there's going to be some pitching floating around. I think, you know, a lot of these teams are way out of it, and you know, I think there's going to be some pitching floating around. So we'll see. We're about a month out, I think. So I love the trade deadline. It was always my favorite time of the year. It used to be that was always our vacation week. And man, I always just love sitting down baseball tonight back in the old days on trade deadline night, the 31st of July. That was the fun. I loved it. So
great show.
Absolutely. Well, DJ, as good as the Cubs have been,
man,
Yankees are struggling. So I'm not going to do a rundown of the last week, but I'm going to kind of hit some high spots here. So DJ, counting last year, the pandemic year, which everybody kind of tried to write off, the Yankees are basically a 500 team. And they are the same team this year that they were last year, which is super streaky. They're 3-7 in their last 10. And I just read a couple things here. This will blow your mind. It kind of blew my mind. Here's the teams that have swept the Yankees just this year.
Tigers.
Detroit, the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Phillies. They've been swept, 4 times. On the converse of that, the Yankees have swept Detroit, the White Sox, and the Rangers. So that shows you how streaky they've been. They've been swept 4 times, and they've swept other teams 3 times. Yep. This team is maddening. I've come to the conclusion that they're poorly managed. I'm sorry, Aaron Boone. I like you. I appreciate what you've done. I think you're an awesome announcer. I wish you could somehow take A-Rod's spot back. Yeah. I liked him on ESPN back in the day, or Baseball Tonight, whatever it was he was on. But listen, the Yankees have hit into more double plays than any team in baseball. They're the worst base running team in baseball. They don't hit with 2 strikes. They leave players on base. I mean, it's all a recipe for exactly what they've gotten, which is a 500 team. It's crazy. They have really good pitching. The Yankees are 3rd in the league in ERA. But man, something's going to have to give. They got to shake this team up, whether it be firing Boone, firing some coaches. I hate it, but it's gone too far. And I don't want to be like our friends, the Braves, and just be like, you know, let's just flush our manager. But be honest, I mean, this isn't new. You know, if this was just a weird, you know, thing after a good season or whatever, I'd say, you know, whatever, let's just hang in there. But the Yankees are getting far enough out of it now. I looked it up today. They only got a 20% chance to even make the playoffs at this point. And so it's going to take a lot. Right now, Kluber's down. I'm not sure if he was out when we had our last podcast. That was the Yankees' big pitching upgrade, supposedly. Taillon has been completely ineffective. His ERA is now up around 6, which was the second big add by Cashman. And so, again, you got to ask yourself the question, how long is his leash? You're a big market team. You have one of the highest payrolls in baseball.
Yeah.
You have a team that needed innings, and you came up with Kluber and Taillon. Kluber's probably good chance he's out for the rest of the year, and Taillon coming off Tommy John's just been terrible. So on the bright side, if you're looking at some bright side, Gary Sanchez, as bad as I hate him, he's turned it around, DJ. He's hitting like 320 during the last month. So he's got 2 extra base hits tonight. Miguel Andujar, after being second rookie of the year, he's been MIA for the last 2 years. He's finally turning it around, and Gleyber Torres is finally starting to turn around a little bit. So there's some bright spots out there. But again, the Yankees are maddening. They have this whole system going on where they rest Judge and Stanton. I don't even know what they're doing with him. They actually sat him the entire Philadelphia series. I mean, here the season is basically on the line, and you're too scared to throw a guy out in left field for a little while and just let him play a game. I don't know, man. I think it comes back to Boone, a lack of leadership, urgency, whatever the case may be. Something's got to give. It's not all bad. Again, they're 10th in batting average, which that's not great, obviously, but 4th in home runs. So they shouldn't be a 500 team. They should absolutely not be a 500 team, but that's where they are right now. So it's been very disappointing. So DJ, outside looking in, what have you observed from the Yankees?
All of the above. What you talked about is the problems that this team has at the beginning. You're exactly right. It's just fundamentals, man. This team is not good defensively. They make you pull what little hair I have left out as far as watching them because their fundamentals are so bad defensively. I'm with you, man. I can't believe it, to be honest with you. They've been struggling so bad. I really thought this team had a shot this year. They're not even close. This could be the worst Yankees team I've seen in a long time. And that with all that talent, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't know, man. I'm kind of with you a little bit. I'm a big, Aaron Boone guy as well. I like Aaron Boone a lot. But something's wrong here, and it's got to be, frustrating to be a Yankees fan right now. You're in 4th place in that division. You're right above the Orioles, and that's not right. This team should not be there. They shouldn't be. Obviously those 3 other teams that are ahead of them are no joke, so it's not like they're getting taken over by teams that are terrible. That's not the case. And they're still kind of in it. They're still right there, and they could have a great week, and we can come back next week and they can be in second, So this could turn around fast for them. But observing everything I've seen and the little chances I've had to watch them a little bit here and there, I don't know, man. It's got to be very frustrating. You cannot be happy with what's going on. 2 or 3 more weeks, if this continues, I think you're gonna be even more fired up than you are now. I think the time bomb's starting to tick a little bit for Yankees fans, and the explosion, if they keep it up, is not too far away.
And the problem is there's nothing to say.
Yeah.
Think about it. Who are they going to dump Giancarlo Stanton on? Nobody.
Right.
Ain't nobody taking that salary. Me and my dad were talking. I mean, do you consider, if this continues, do you consider trading Judge? I think you have to. This team, it just needs shook up. And I know they're a big market team, and the Yankees aren't known for selling off, but the question becomes, are you willing to give Aaron Judge at 30 years old? He's got 1 more year after this one. Are you willing to give him 7 or 8 years? I'm not. And I love Aaron Judge.
Not with his injuries.
It's Leland's favorite player. He can't stay on the field. And they basically have a carbon copy of him in Giancarlo Stanton. He mashes when he plays. But, if you can't stick a guy in the outfield, for against a National League team when you're literally drowning, what are we doing?
Right.
And I told my dad, I said, if I'm Aaron Boone, I go into those guys and say, hey, until we start winning, those rules are off. It's all hands on deck. And if you get injured doing it, we're losing anyway. So what do we got to lose? So this is what we're doing. We've got to start winning some games, but there's no urgency. There doesn't seem to be. I'm not there. There doesn't seem to be any urgency. The Boone mantra is always the same. Well, we're playing a little bit better. I can feel us getting ready to bust out. It's just not happening. And they're so frustrating to watch, man. They just can't do anything right. The other day, I know this is another thing that kills me, DJ, this analytics movement, which Boone's a big part of. Listen, sometimes you just got to play baseball.
Yep.
When you got a runner at second and you're struggling scoring runs, you're in extra innings, what do? You bunt the guy over. You have to. And I know analytics is going to tell you that's dumb, But when two guys strike out and the next guy pops up in the infield, it doesn't seem so dumb anymore. Just bunt the guy over.
Yep.
Hit a ground ball to the right side and score the run. But that's the kind of stuff the Yankees have been doing, man. It's just so incredibly frustrating. I could go on forever. Their first baseman for the year hitting about 150, and I'm not joking. Clint Frazier has lost his job to Miguel Andujar, who's a third baseman now playing left field. That's how bad he's hit. No joke. I mean,
That's surprising.
It's just a total mess. And I don't think trades are going to fix it at this point. This team, if it's me, somebody's head's falling off this week, hitting coach, however you want to address it. And I'm giving it 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'm going to start sending guys down the road and playing for next year. But we'll see. That's not the Yankees style. Cashman's head's on a platter. If it's me, we just need a different. Again, I appreciate it all these years, but at this point, it's your team, man. Right? I mean, at what point does somebody have to look at you and say, "Okay, you brought these players here. You know, something's got to give." And so that's the way I feel about it. I know a lot of other Yankee fans would disagree. Cashman is pretty beloved. He has pulled some awesome trades in the past, but he built this team, man. You know what I mean? It's been since 2009 since we've won a World Series, been close several times, but that's not the Yankee way. So anyway, we'll move on from that, DJ. Let's talk about the standings. So without looking at anything, I've looked. Who's the best team in baseball right now? It's not going to be who you think it is, but they're close.
It's the Rays, isn't it? Don't the Rays have the best record?
It is the Rays.
Yeah.
It is the Rays. Dude, how amazing is this? They trade their starting shortstop in the middle of the season, and they don't even bring up the top prospect that they have waiting down there that's
exactly. Yep.
They bring up some other dude, and of course, just pans out just fine. They blow my mind. I don't even know what to say about it. Most people could not name 5 people that are on the team. They just blow my mind, DJ.
They do. It's a cycle. They don't do anything by the book, like you were just talking about, like the Yankees do everything by the book analytics wise. The Rays don't do that, and look how good they're doing. They will stick with the starting pitchers till they figure out, he's starting to get hit a little bit. Statistically, it's time for him to get out of there. And they switch. They get rid of guys and plug in with other guys. They don't keep superstars. If you become a superstar there, you're not going to get a long-term contract. You'll be out. They'll just replace you with another prospect coming up because their farm system is the best in baseball.
Look at Blake Snell.
Yeah.
He's been terrible. I looked at him today because I had him on one of my fantasy teams. He already is about 5. And terrible. What did they do? They're one of their catchers who's doing awesome was from that trade. Patino looked pretty good in short time from that trade. And they also got a prospect in that deal for basically a guy, that's doing nothing.
Yeah.
And they're amazing, man. They're amazing.
What a horrible fan base they got there. They need to leave Tampa. What a terrible stadium. Bad. What a terrible fan base. They do everything right on the payroll that they got. Time to move, man. I hate to say that, but something's got to go, man. It's got to change. They got to go somewhere else. They got to go to a fan base that'll appreciate them, and it's weird.
I'm not a fan of the Vegas idea, DJ. I saw a discussion you were having on Facebook. Somebody threw out there Nashville, and I think that's interesting. Baseball typically is really big in the South, obviously not in Florida, but I think it would be interesting to have a team in Nashville. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree with that. They support their hockey team really well. They got a football team there. They got the Memphis Grizzlies for the NBA. So they've got 3 franchises in the state of Tennessee and no baseball, which is weird to me, man. It's like they got a shot at opportunity to bring a team there. I really think they should do it. Nashville would be a good spot. Florida's got 2 teams already, make them go down to 1, give Tennessee I like it. I think it's a good spot. They would be supported very well there. I really think that would thrive for the Rays. The Nashville Rays, man. We need to make a logo for them. We need to make this happen, David.
I think we're gonna have to ditch the Rays name. No, there's no Rays in Nashville unless they're in that club there. So we're probably gonna have to ditch that. But I like the idea of a team in Nashville. Like you said, hockey and football has been pretty successful, so they got a great track record. My problem with Vegas is, it's a tourist town. Not a lot of people actually live in Vegas. So I'm anti-Vegas. Bring it to Nashville. But also amazing, DJ, is your boys, the Giants. What is going on? How in the world are we still talking about the Giants in first place?
Well, I got a firsthand look the other day when the Cubs went and played them out in San Fran, and
did not end well for the Cubs.
No, it did not. They took a good whooping from them. After coming off a huge high of destroying the Padres, we go into San Diego and just get roughed up, man. And I couldn't figure it out for the life of me what this team's doing. They're good, man. Kevin Gossman's a stud on the mound. They've got really good players. Buster Posey has been the Buster Posey of old. He's a leading candidate for the starting catcher job in the All-Star game. And he deserves it. That's not because of his name. That's because of his stats, and they're legit. And he's been playing awesome, man. And when you got the catcher hitting like he does, and he's the leader of that staff, it goes a long way for a team, man. So a lot of credit to Posey. Longoria has been playing well. These guys are good, man. What's that?
Brandon Crawford.
Oh, Crawford's been amazing too, man. He put one in the drink against the Cubs, and a big home run in that series for Crawford as well. And these guys, man, they're legit. Like I said before, they're not going to stay there. They're still going to end in third place, but kudos to them for hanging out as long as they have, man, because it's the toughest division as far as top heavy goes. We've talked about this. You got the two best teams in the league in your same division, and right now you're still ahead in it somehow. And I'm not giving Gabe Kapler any credit. I will only give the players credit.
I'm with you on that, by the way. So it's interesting that the Padres have slumped a little bit. They're 3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah, because they faced the Cubs.
That's what it was.
A lot of Cubs, man, and the Cubs have been putting a beating on them in the last two series. They played the Cubs. That did not end well for them at all. So they're off the schedule now. So they'll start to thrive more.
So another team I thought was interesting, sneaky, just to be honest. Me and DJ talked off air. We both had kind of crazy stuff going on, and I haven't got to watch near as much baseball as I started out watching, but the Reds have snuck over 500, DJ.
Yeah.
Is it possible? That they could sneak into that race?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this team's got the offense, man. We've talked about how much we love their team's offense and couldn't figure out how they disappeared last year, basically, and became a pitching team with that offense. And the offense is thriving. If you look at all the leaders in the categories of statistics, you're going to see Castellanos at the top of most of those, and you're going to see Winkler at the top of most of those. Those two are killing it right now. Those guys are carrying the load. You don't hear about Suarez and Votto very much, but you hear about those two, man. They're carrying it. They're doing an awesome job. That team's playing amazing, man, and have snuck over the Cardinals, which is crazy to think too. They're 2 games above 500, 8-2 in their last 10. David, they're on fire, and that's part of the problem with the Cubs being so on fire right now too. The Brewers and the Reds have caught fire too, and haven't let the Cubs run away with this yet. So it's been frustrating to see the Brewers and the Reds kind of keeping pace with the Cubs, because we haven't had any separation as well as we've been playing. So that scares me a little bit, not gonna lie. But the Cardinals going 2-8 this week, and the Pirates going 1-9, and completely running themselves out of the race already has been the positive out of this week at the NL Central for the Cubs.
So DJ, more surprising, Atlanta in third place under 500.
Oh.
Or the A's in first place with one of the best records in baseball?
Great question, but the surprising thing has to be the Braves. I mean, we know the A's are going to be in first place. It just happens all the time. As much as I can't figure it out, and still I'm surprised to this day how they've done it year after year after year. It's just repetitive. It never stops. So I guess the surprising thing right now is that the Braves are in third. And let me just say this right now, doesn't look good for them because, I mean, when your superstar player is an absolute idiot and a moron and should not play the rest of this year, he's gone, man. So they lost a huge bet in that lineup. When you beat your wife up in front of cops, that doesn't always go well. So suspended for the year, I'm sure. And not a good look for the Braves. Not sure what they probably should just drop him, to be honest with you, because I don't know how you put a uniform back on after doing something like that. But that's a big loss for them. It really is. If you're looking at it from a baseball perspective, which his off-field problems are obviously very high and bad, and it's been a very bad relationship with those two, I think, over the years. And they both have beat each other up on many occasions, so not a good situation. The Braves find themselves right in the middle of that and find themselves losing one of their best bats. This guy should have won the MVP last year. Freeman didn't do it, and he's now no longer a part of this. So that's a huge hurt for their chances. Soroka, the Achilles, is not recovering. He has taken another setback in his recovery. Not a lot of good news coming out of the Braves camp, man, and they're kind of falling out a little bit. This team still has a lot of talent, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think but it's just going to depend. You know, the Mets have money now, and here they are in first place, up, I believe, 4 games on the Phillies. The Mets will be buyers at the deadline too, man. So can the Mets bury the Braves? And you got to hand it to the Mets, man. Luis Rojas, I believe, is their manager. They have been swamped with injuries, man. I mean, swamped, and they found a way. So you got to tip your cap to the Mets, man. I mean, it's really pretty amazing. So DJ, we can't talk about the standings without talking about the best team in Chicago. Still in first place. They've lost 3 of their best players. Doesn't matter. Somehow they've had infighting on the team. La Russa, is still La Russa, and they keep winning. What's the deal, DJ? What's the talk of the White Sox in Chicago? I got to know.
So it's so funny to hear the discord among the manager and the players. Cracks me up because so old school. He's not changing his ways. Like, he is what he is. He's been doing it. He's the second winningest manager of all time. He's not changing for anybody. And why should he? The guy's won more games than every manager in the entire league combined probably right now. So if he has a way of doing it, then so be it. These young guys not adjusting to it, kind of prima donnas. It's on them a little bit in a lot of different ways. I don't always agree with everything La Russa does. I'm not going to lie to you. But who's to tell anybody? Who's to tell Tony La Russa how to manage a game? Are you kidding me? This guy's coached some of the most amazing teams in the history of the game. So he knows what he's doing, man. And it's obvious by having this team in first place right now. You have to give him credit. I don't care. Like you just said, they've got 3 of their starters from, their preseason starters are out, and they're done for the year, almost all of them. So,
yeah.
And Abreu's been banged up a lot, and this team has just kept going, man. They're on fire. They're 41-25, David, and they're 4.5 above Cleveland, and there's nobody else even close after Cleveland. So, they've run away with it quick, and we're about at the point where you got 100 games left. So,
yeah,
our 62 are about done here for most teams, and it's time now for the last 100. And you start to see a little bit of separation in the standings. I still can't believe the Twins are 15 games back. I said 15 games back.
They're done.
It blows my mind. Unreal.
Yeah. DJ, I got one final question with related to the White Sox. Lance Lynn, ever heard of him? DJ, how good has he been, man? Last I looked, I think he had a start yesterday, so I did not see how that ended up. But I think he had a 1.23 ERA going into that start, DJ. And
He's unreal.
He just throws fastballs every pitch.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Is it the sticky tack? We're going to talk about that here in a minute.
Oh, could it be? Could it be the sticky tag?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. So, honestly, DJ, I have to say we were pretty good in picking up to this point, our divisions and stuff. Not much, is different than we thought. Obviously, the Yankees aren't where we thought they would be. The Braves aren't where we thought they would be. The Giants, that I still don't even know what to say about that. But everything else, and the Twins, we kind of both thought the Twins would be up there, and that's been a struggle. But standings pretty much playing out as we thought they would. So DJ, let's just transition to what we just started to talk about a little bit. So it comes out this week that baseball has decided, after decades and decades of this going on, that for some reason this week was the week that they were going to really crack down on foreign substances with the pitchers. So DJ, give me your thoughts. You're a hitter. We got two different perspectives here. What do you think about this whole deal with the foreign substances?
It's absolute garbage. It's absolute cheating. I know it's been happening the entire time that baseball has been around, from Gaylord Perry to Phil and Joe Niekro doing things with the ball with toenail clippers, all kinds of different things going on. If you clip a little hole in that little seam there, you can get a little bit more cut on your ball. I know you know that already, but they used to do that with the fingernail clippers. Clip it in certain spots, your ball dances a little bit more. So this is not new. This is a sticky tack stuff. What's the name of the stuff that they're putting on it? David, do you remember? Spider tack. Yeah. So here's your assignment for the week, David. Google it, buy it on Amazon. It'll be shipped to your house in 2 days, and feel it out. See what it's like. I'd be very interested. You're gonna have a hard time getting it off your hands, and you may not be able to, maybe on your hand for like a week. But I would be interested, David, because I can't throw a curveball for the life of me, and it wouldn't do me any. It might do me some good because I can't throw. But actually, somebody like you who actually has a curveball, I would be interested if you got some of that stuff and put it on your fingers and just kind of threw out into a net or something, and see if you can tell a difference on your spin rate. And I'd love to hear a report on that, because you can get the stuff pretty cheap and it can be shipped to your house really quick. You can feel what the pitchers are doing. You should do it, David. I'm telling you. I want to see firsthand. We should get a firsthand experience on how this goes for you.
DJ, I told you all there, let our viewers, all three of them, know. I'm so ticked off that I did not know about this in college. I'm not even going to lie about it. I wasn't the greatest pitcher, but one thing I did possess was a pretty decent curveball. It really makes me wonder what that would have turned into. I had no idea. But as far as this deal with MLB goes, this is so stupid, DJ. This has been going on for years. It's not a secret. It's been pretty open in baseball for years. And so while MLB has doctored the ball every year for the last few years, going to be tightly wound this year. Now it's not. Now it's going to be lighter. They've been doctoring the ball for years. And so now in the middle of the season, they've decided that, hey, we're going to crack down on this and make a change. Yep. I think this goes back to what we've talked about. Rob Manfred is a terrible commissioner. Terrible. If you're going to make this change, and I'm not saying that it didn't need made, this is an off-season thing, and you have to involve the players in it, and they did neither. This is ridiculous in my book. I think the owners have started complaining because runs are down. The game is more boring than it used to be with the strikeouts and stuff that's going on. I just think it's ridiculous, personally. Like I said, it's been going on for years. Maybe you tighten it up a little bit mid-season, but like the way they're going about it, I just think it's a complete wrong way, not involving the players in it. I just completely disagree with it. So
it's been funny to watch Garrett Cole dance around the questions. He's guilty based off of his answers. These guys are doing this. It started with Giovanni.
I like how Tyler Glasnow said it today. Hey, look, yeah, I've been using it, and so is everybody else. I had to change my grip on my pitches because of this. And he said it. He was like, this is something that we should have been able to prepare for, and they just basically dropped the bomb. I just think it's ridiculous. Like I said, I think they've all been doing it. I can guarantee you this: had I known what I know now, I 100% would have been doing it. 1,000% would have been doing it. But anyway, we'll see how it pans out. Spin rates is funny. Like this talk started probably a week ago, and the spin rates overall have dropped dramatically. So I think we're going to see some ERAs going up. Lance Lynn is a guy I really wonder about. How can you just throw a fastball every pitch and have a 123 ERA? And it's not even like a 100-mile-an-hour fastball either. Mid to upper 90s. It's just so interesting how that has come to be. So we'll see, DJ. We'll see. So the next big event coming up on the MLB clock is the MLB draft. And DJ, I told you off air, I have not watched one pitch of college baseball this year, but you are a big college baseball and draft aficionado. So why don't you tell us about a couple prospects that you have to keep an eye out on?
Couple guys I just wanted to go through real quick. The draft is July 11 through 13. It's going to be 20 rounds this year, just kind of a little lead into what it's going to be. Normally it's 40 rounds, but they cut it in half. They're still trying to get everybody into spots. They got too many minor leaguers right now with all the cuts they made at minor league ball. So kind of makes sense that they would shorten it a little bit more. The Pirates have the number 1 pick, followed by the Rangers, Tigers, Red Sox, Orioles, D-backs, Royals, Rockies, Angels, and Mets round out the top 10. The Yankees will pick 20th, and the Cubs will pick 21st. So the draft comes up soon. Just a few guys to keep an eye on here that might be top picks. We have Jack Leiter, David, who is the son of Al Leiter. And, man, this guy is for real, David, like the real deal. So if the Pirates want to go pitching, I would go him. If they want to go something else, like a shortstop, there's a couple guys there that I'll talk about in a minute that they can take. But it's going to be interesting to see because Vanderbilt's got the 2 top pitchers in the draft by far, and Kumar Rocker as well, and Leiter. So those are the 2 guys that are the big names. Leiter is a dominant right-handed pitcher from Vandy, 97 mile an hour on his fastball, 12-6 curveball, and a nasty slider. So I wonder if he's using the grip stuff too. It'll be interesting to see. Those college guys are probably doing it too, David. We know that already. We know they were all doing steroids when we played. So they're of course doing this as well as pitchers. So like I said, the son of Al Leiter, this guy, if you have not seen him pitch, just do yourself a favor and just YouTube him pitching. You can see some video on him. He's ridiculous. He threw a no-hitter already in college for Vandy this year. About 120-something pitches, just unbelievably dominant. Expected to be one of the top pitchers. He struggled a little bit recently, which they say may have dropped his status a little bit, but that makes no sense to me because just because you struggle a little bit during your season, it doesn't mean you don't have the potential, which is what they should go off of. And you shouldn't drop a few spots because you have a little bit of a slump. If that was the case, all these hitters would drop because everybody goes through a slump. So didn't make any sense to me to hear that. But if the Pirates want to take him at number 1, they'll have a stud pitcher there. Or they could go this route. And I think the Tigers might fall into a shortstop, David. They've got Torkelson, like we talk about, coming up. And a couple shortstops I'll go over here real quick. Jordan Lawler is a patient hitter, great speed, range, and glove work, awesome arm and strength. He's a top prospect. And then the one guy I wanted to kind of focus a little bit more on because I think he might be the number 1 pick is Marcelo Mayer from California. He's a high schooler right now. He's got an awesome swing. I watched a lot of his swing today. Got a good approach at the plate. Potential to have raw power as well, and he's got good hands, a la our boy Casey Caldwell, who I still to this day have never seen better infield hands than Casey Caldwell had, the guy that we played with. So he's got hands a lot like him. Footwork is awesome. He double holds onto the bat when he swings, which is awesome as well. I like it. I would like to see him go to the Tigers at the 3 spot. That the Pirates and Rangers could go pitching, and then it'd be interesting to see if Marcelo goes 3 there. Stud, 6'3", 180, lefty bat, righty throwy. He's committed to USC. If he doesn't sign, he will go to USC and play. So just 3 guys there. Just kind of want to mention. Won't take a ton of time on that, and Rocker as well. If you can take a look at those 4 players for sure. Those 4 guys may be the top 4 picks right there coming up in this draft here. And it's always interesting to me. I love to see the first round. They do show the first round on TV now, and it's so much fun to watch. And I'm glad they started doing that about 10, 15 years ago, put it on TV. It used to be where the draft was all on the internet, and they would mispronounce the names of the guys they drafted. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So now it's come a whole long way, and it'll be a whole lot of fun. And hopefully the Cubs can steal another young prospect out of there and do the right thing and go with a bat at the 21 pick and not do pitching in the first round, because I'm not a believer in pitching in the first round anymore. Big fan of taking the stud position guy and then getting your pitching other ways. So we'll see how it happens.
It seems to be a trend in baseball. I actually heard somebody talking about that the other day, that the pitchers were a lot bigger lottery ticket than because of injuries and Tommy John surgery and all that than the hitters were. So it's going to be interesting because this is a pitching heavy draft. It would be tempting if you're the Pirates to take Jack Leiter or Kumar Rocker because they ought to be closer. They're college pitchers, and so it's going to be interesting. On Rocker, I did read up on him a little bit today, DJ. So I guess there's been a big velocity drop here in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and they say his stock is falling. Matter of fact, the publication that I was reading on, I don't remember which one it was now, but they had him down at like number 10, which is shocking because the talk was him and Leiter were going to be 1 and 2. So it's going to be interesting to see. We still got plenty of time. I thought the draft was a little closer than that. I didn't realize it was July the 11th. So we got almost a month to kind of sort all this out. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more in future episodes. So, DJ, I guess unless you have anything else, man, it's time to wrap it up. This time next week, I'll either be crying or pumped because that's the way the Yankees are. They'll either be like 8-0 or 0-8. So that seems like the way it's working out. I can only pray for a big Cubs fall and a big Brewers run. And I'm still waiting for the trade deadline and the sell-off of the Cubs. But it's not looking good for me right now. But, hey, for all you guys that are watching, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like it, and share it on Facebook or whatever social media you're on. And we appreciate you taking time to watch.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.